walking over to the terminal from the Premier Inn and boarding a Norwegian plane to fly to Corfu in Greece with Professor Alex. We're about to take a cruise called the Aegean shores on the magnificent cruise ship Discovery 2. And there she is. First thing is to explore the ship a little. Corfu in the distance, not a cloud in the sky. Kakaira is the Greek name of Corfu. In the distance, Corfu town and the old fortress we visited when I was here with Rachel. The ship is a great ship. Even had a putting green on the top deck. Alongside us, 2 other cruise ships. My first time on the Discovery 2. It's a great ship. Nice pool. Impressive atrium.
We are about to explore Corfu.
So we head into town. The very first place we go is the Black Cat, where Rachel and I had coffee last time I was here.
Back to Corfu and back to the Black Cat and back to my good friends. Bless you.
Thank you. Bless you. Enjoy.
Spiro actually remembered me. Then a walk around the shopping arcades, a favorite with tourists coming here. I didn't notice there were fewer people here this time. Leather and lace are specialities. They had a supermarket. It's an old world town, full of interesting buildings. Churches, windows. And yes, people too. The local people very friendly and courteous. Al fresco dining, great food here, and bargains everywhere. A t-shirt designed by a dyslexic guy who saw a dog. Nice ice cream. Interesting architecture. The quiet corners are delightful. The usual local produce. and every now and then an interesting square. I love the architecture here. We did look at the old fort from a distance, but as I'd been here on my last trip, I wanted to see the new fort. So we just looked at the old fort from across the moat. Rachel told me the old fort reminds her of me. Don't ask me why. It has an amazing history and has saved Corfu from invaders many times. Homer writes about it in the Odyssey. The Persians were here, the Romans, the Goths, the Byzantines, Normans, Ottomans, Sicilians, French, Russians, British, Italians, Germans, and mainly the Venetians. Without doubt, there are few places on earth having such a colorful history. Then we walked back through the town to walk over to the new fort. We walked through the old Jewish quarter on the way, having a chat with local people.
Χάρηκα πολύ.
Χάρηκα πολύ.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Wide steps lead up to the fort.
We're walking up to the new fort this time. Take some views over the city.
But we were told it was closed. It was beautiful in the evening sunshine, but very quiet. No crowds of tourists at all. When we finally reached the fort, there was no way to go inside. Not even a place to get some shots of the city. So we made our way back down. It has an impressive promenade and some great places to eat. But for some reason, it was deserted. So we took a gentle stroll back to the ship. A great first day. It's quite common the day after embarking to have a day at sea. The ship will cruise to the furthest destination and then gradually return over the week. I particularly like this, as the day we fly out is usually a very early start. The flight may be 7:30 in the morning, which means we have to get up at 4:30 or even earlier to arrive at the airport at 5:30. Next day at sea enables us to have a lie-in and an easy day, but it also gives us opportunity to explore the ship. Believe me, that's always fun. See what's on offer, where all the restaurants are, and check out the menus and fare. So just sitting on the deck in the middle of the sea is therapeutic after being in the city for most of the year. The great thing about a Mediterranean cruise in the summer is the weather. Not too hot, not too humid, and often a nice breeze, especially at sea. Different ships have different amenities. Fancy climbing a wall? Naturally, there's usually a couple of swimming pools and outdoor entertainment. Or one can have a quiet coffee inside a lounge and watch the world go by. Even in the daytime there are things happening. Pirate show today, or is it Peter Pan?
More actually, if you go to London, get reinforcements, come back here with all your pirate friends, and say,
I'll tell you what, I'll go all the way around in a circle. See if I can see.
I have to say, just re-watching this reminds me of how relaxing the day was. Most people were just sunbathing and resting, getting ready to visit 5 exciting cities, namely Heraklion, Crete tomorrow, then the island of Santorini, followed by Kusadasi in Turkey, from where we'll visit biblical Ephesus, then ancient Athens and Zante in Greece. This was a pool with a restaurant around the edge, quiet and sheltered. Strangely, this shot is classic. Coffee and a view brings back memories. Dr. Alex getting a new experience. We're having lunch with a view. Jesse, our waiter, first class.
I know you're a film star, Jesse. Did you know that?
Kebab to start. Carrot soup. The fish was hake. Then chef's salad. Sugar-free rice pudding or ice cream for dessert. Then a coffee and a chat with the ship's photographer, Milos.
We may as well record that. Now it's recording in 4K. Okay. And this is Milos, my good friend since we were little kids 2 years ago.
Then dinner. Chose to have fish again. Beef Wellington. Sugar-free mousse. Cheese and biscuits to finish, and a great day. Tomorrow we'll be in Heraklion, Crete. This is fun. After a relaxing day at sea, we're on our way to what we hope will be a day in history. We simply jumped on a local bus for the 30-minute trip to the Minoan Palace of Knossos. We were greeted by restaurants, cafes, and tourist shops. On a beautiful day, warm and sunny, it was indeed a pleasure, though I failed to convince Alex that he didn't need a jacket. One of the most visited historical sites of Greece, second only to the Parthenon. But to put things into perspective, the Parthenon was built in the 5th century BC, and the Palace of Knossos was built about 1500 years before that. Knossos was the center of Europe's first advanced civilization, the Minoan, that dates as far back as 2700 BC. The ruins of the palace here have revealed some astonishing insights into what happened here 3,500 years ago that brought about its destruction and a sudden end to the Minoan culture. It's been a mystery for centuries, but now some theories unfold that may provide an explanation for it all. It all began in 1900, when Arthur Evans, a renowned archaeologist, came here with a team and began systematic excavations, hoping to find solutions to these age-old mysteries. After all, early Cretan history is filled with ancient legends of King Minos and Theseus and the Minotaur, passed on by poets and writers such as Homer. Why are some parts of the palace completely destroyed and others relatively untouched? A common theory is that the Mycenaeans invaded, but apparently there are problems with this, as the Minoans were completely destroyed and not replaced by another culture. Although there is some evidence that the Mycenaeans inhabited the actual palace, as some Linear B script was discovered, Linear B being their language. The oldest evidence of the language in Greece itself comes from the Minoans of Crete. The Minoan script, called Linear A, is the oldest written language in Europe and is still largely undeciphered. As a result, many offer a different theory, that the great volcanic eruption of Thera, Santorini, may have caused a cataclysmic tsunami that destroyed Knossos and brought about the swift destruction of the Minoan civilization. Plato wrote about an advanced civilization called Atlantis, which was destroyed when the Santorini volcano erupted. Plato's thoughts have been followed by other writers who also suggest the Minoan Knossos was in fact the inspiration for Plato's Atlantis, and it was wiped out when the volcano at Santorini erupted. The huge tsunami that followed this mammoth cataclysm, only 50 miles to the south, hit the coast of Minoan Crete at a mind-boggling height and magnitude, destroying everything in its path and wiping out most of the population. Could Knossos have been the inspiration for the ancient city of Atlantis? Not at the bottom of the sea after the flood, but destroyed in minutes by a flood that quickly receded. Plato may then have added some fiction, and that mixed with facts may have confused historians over the centuries. Maybe. But probably the Mycenaeans were the cause of its demise. The Minoan civilization was certainly advanced. Intricate frescoes were found here, depicting Minoan life and religion, and many pithoi, large jars, were found here that may have contained oil and wine, or wheat, beans and peas. This is the main storage area of the palace. Homer described it like this. There's a land called Crete in the middle of the sea that looks like wine. It's beautiful and fertile, surrounded by the waves, and the people who live there are so many that you can't count them. They have 90 cities. Different people speak different languages, all mixed together. Homer, the Odyssey, 8th century BC. I keep stopping to consider that what I'm looking at is perhaps the oldest city in Europe. Stones unmoved for thousands of years. Having said all this, I'm enjoying the place as a tourist, not as a historian, though surely the experience is enhanced by the history. The Minoan civilization, forerunner of all the civilizations of Europe, was born here. Alex is also having fun. These stones certainly hold many secrets. Ancient avenues where great processions would have taken place, uncovered and restored. It was indeed a walk through ancient history. As we left, Alex wanted a souvenir. After that, the intrepid tourists decided on refreshment. Freshly squeezed oranges and the elixir of the gods.
It's time for a coffee and the fresh lemon juice for Alex.
So we sat and enjoyed the time. In a few minutes, we shall jump back on the bus and ride back into Heraklion to explore the town. So far, it's been a fascinating day. And we're riding the local bus back into the city of Heraklion, which is the largest city and the administrative capital of the island of Crete. It's the 5th largest city in Greece, with a population of 140,000. Furthermore, it was Europe's fastest growing tourist destination in 2017. And according to Euromonitor, is the 2nd most visited city in Greece, mainly due to its proximity to the palace of Knossos. I have to say I love Greece. and find the cities enchanting places to visit. The reason for there being so few people here today is that it is in fact Sunday. Wide open tree-lined boulevards are a mark of Greek cities. So we explored a little, and then strolled back to the city centre to get a snack, and found a delightful cafe in Lions Square. A pleasant location. The Morosini Fountain is here. And pigeons. Not to mention St. Mark's Basilica on the right here. And behind it the 17th century Venetian loggia. Indeed a welcome break.
We're about to have a cup of coffee.
And baklava.
The best in Greece.
Baklava is dough, finely crushed pistachios, butter and syrup, and is the most fattening food on earth. So we sat and enjoyed the view, then had another stroll around to try to walk off the baklava. There are some beautiful churches here, and flowers all around. Hibiscus. This is the Museum of Christian Art. That's right next to the Greek Orthodox Cathedral. A stunning edifice. And the clock is right on time. Archbishop Makarios keeping watch. We decided to take a look inside. Cease to be amazed how intricate and beautiful these places of worship are. The design, decor and workmanship simply stunning. It was built between 1862 and 1895 and is the largest cathedral in Crete and one of the largest in Greece. The colors still vivid, the decor ornate. We sat and simply enjoyed the atmosphere and the beauty of the place. So back to the city. the Venetian loggia built in 1620 when the Venetians ruled here. The Italian influence still here. Gelato. Do I shoot the harbor or have a coffee? Well, I chose the coffee but regretted not choosing the harbor.
So what's your name, by the way?
My name is Nick.
Nicky.
Yeah, Nick. From Nicholas.
Had a chat with Nicky. He was a really nice guy and made good coffee. Then a stroll back to the ship. Not a cloud in the sky.
A really beautiful day. So we really enjoyed that, and beautiful weather.
In no time, we were sailing away. It's been a great day with a variety of things to do and see. And after an exhilarating day, nothing better than to shower, change for dinner, and enjoy sailing away on a beautiful evening. So we entered the Glass House restaurant, had a sumptuous dinner. Starter here, prawns, scallops, calamari, very nice meal. And watch the sunset out of the window. What a day. Next stop, Santorini, the most beautiful island in the world. Santorini, also known as Thera, is an island in the southern Aegean Sea. It's about 200 kilometers, 120 miles, to the southeast of Greece's mainland and 50 miles north of Crete. It's the remnant of a volcanic caldera. A caldera is not the same as a crater. Craters are formed by the outward explosion of magma from a volcano. The caldera are formed by the inward collapse of a volcano. Santorini embraces the caldera. The volcanic eruption was the largest in recorded history. The Minoan eruption, also called the Thera eruption, which occurred about 3,600 years ago in 1640 BC, at the height of the Minoan civilization.
So how are you enjoying it, Alex?
Yes, great.
Santorini was later named in the 13th century after Saint Irene, Santa Irini. The name Thera was revived in the 19th century as the official name of the island and its main city, but the name Santorini is still in popular use. We're excited as we arrive with blue skies and bright sunshine, and we're immediately confronted by the crowds. It's difficult to arrive by cruise ship and avoid the crowds, if you see what I mean. So we joined the queue of the cable car. The good thing being, we are queuing in a beautiful place. The Aegean Sea on our left, the cliffs of Santorini above, a cool sea breeze offsetting the hot Mediterranean weather. A cool 1.5 million tourists visit every year. Here comes the cable car, €6 each way. Spectacular views. The island there is right in the center of the caldera. On reaching the top, we're right in the center of Thera, the main town, and we begin to explore the island, famous for its whitewashed houses that cling to the cliffside and the many meandering paths and staircases tightly packed together throughout the town. The blue skies and beautiful sunshine make it a remarkably beautiful place. The caldera, the cruise ship, and the white buildings set on top of hills, which when viewed from below often look as they are snow-capped. It's certainly a magical place, and people literally just stand and take in the views. Many of the homes have small pools outside that overlook the caldera. There are many churches and chapels, as this is a popular destination for couples to get married. We then met a couple off our ship, so here's a shot for the album.
So is it a nice place?
It's a lovely place. There you go.
One of the great attractions of the place is that it's so different to any other place I've been. The tightly packed houses, few roads, staircases and alleys to get around and up and down and in and out. So interesting, attractive, intriguing, the views ever present. Magical still remains the best word to describe it. Imagine being able to sit down there and read a book. Some of the residences are quaint and have great ambience, peaceful and relaxing. And I would imagine it's easy to escape the crowds, sit by a pool, enjoy the view. So enjoy it with us. Time for a drink with a view. €3 for the drink. That's 50 cents for the drink and the rest for the view. Time for a drink. The bird's song is free. Memories made. Alex wants me to let him have this shot. Our cruise ship below, great views. This is the life. What a fantastic place to visit. We had heard all the stories about it, and were not disappointed. And it's only 1:30. This is fun. As we continued our exploration, the influence of Christianity was evident. After all, the Apostle Paul visited many places in Greece and even wrote letters to the Corinthians, the Thessalonians, and the Philippians, and cities such as Ephesus were once part of the Greek Empire. Even the New Testament was written in Greek. The Catholic Cathedral of John the Baptist is beautiful. Here we're reminded by St. Augustine not just to admire the scenery, but to consider the pinnacle of God's creation, ourselves. People travel to wonder at the height of the mountains, at the huge waves of the seas, at the long course of the rivers, at the vast compass of the ocean, at the circular motion of the stars, and yet they pass by themselves without wondering. The bright sunshine and blue skies creates a happy feeling. It's a joy just to walk around these narrow streets and alleys, enjoy pretty gardens. And in spite of thousands of visitors, the place is spotlessly clean. History all around, fascinating shops. I can't explain the feeling, but walking around here was such a pleasure. And on days like this, everything is accentuated. I have to say, I immediately wanted to come back here and spend a week, though it's quite expensive. Not surprising in that everything has to be shipped in, and space here is limited. For Alex, this was a big change from northern India. Charming courtyards, enchanting alleyways, astonishing juxtapositioning. What's that doing up there? The whole place is intriguing, captivating. Of course it's touristy, but that's expected. Sparkling white buildings, blue skies, alluring shops. Somehow, they seem to get all the colors right. Dr. Alex has to be patient with me, if you see what I mean. Patient is from Latin, it means suffering. He's ready for a drink and a snack. Why not? So we did it. Coffee and chocolate croissant on the top of the mountain in Santorini, Greece. Great. We also got to see the local hookah, here called a shisha. The problem being that the water that the smoke passes through, whilst cooling it, does not filter it. A session with the shisha is said to be the equivalent of smoking 100 cigarettes, and the high that is experienced is said to be the early stages of carbon monoxide poisoning. Not good. We passed on the shisha, but got a nice demo. Not enough time here. Though we did see some shots of the iconic blue-topped churches that appear on all the postcards. They're mainly in Oya, farther north on the island. But our time was almost up, and we slowly made our way back to the cable car and joined the queue. Getting great views over Santorini. Then back down we go, on the way getting a glimpse of the town and also the alternate way of getting back to the ship, the zigzag pathway that's actually not good for the knee joints. It's been a memorable visit and has lived up to all expectations. But now we'll ride the tender back to the ship. What's the verdict? I've been a lot of places and there is something magical about this place. I could just sit and enjoy the views. Up the top or down here. Both views are enchanting. And if there's any place I've ever visited that I would like to return and spend a few days, this would be top of the list. So as we wait for the tender, there's my great friends John and Millie.
It's a movie, you can move, you know.
For Rachel, yeah?
For Rachel. Say hi to Rachel.
They're good friends with Rachel too. Last glimpse. What a place. What a view. Then dinner on the front of the ship. Eating dinner as the sun sets, discussing the day we've had. Without doubt, one of the most beautiful places on planet Earth. The people back in Santorini are getting this sunset from the cliff top. I will return.